There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes. Starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like falling into a manhole or a black mamba snake. Ooh, or war.
Oh. And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like sneaky security guards. Or riding a Ferris wheel on the wrong day. Or doped up employees.
Oh, I don't want to be anywhere near what you just said.
No, it's terrible.
I think we should play the theme song.
Agreed.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Well, hello.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Chris. You're here in the flesh.
We are in person.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yesterday you said you were still kind of weak.
Yeah, I don't think I'm 100%.
It's kind of lasting a long time.
Maybe it's long COVID.
Yay. We should
This
let
is my
the
life now.
audience know. Why is my phone ringing? Shut up. Okay. Sorry. We should let the audience know that Garen's not here.
No.
He abandoned us.
We have a special DJ.
Yes.
Doing a surprise set.
DJ Sticklegs. What did they call you?
You're talking about Wheels?
Wheels. Yeah, DJ Wheels.
DJ Wheels is here in the flesh.
Matt Belknap, of course. Matt, they called you Wheels because you ran real fast during soccer?
Yeah, that's correct.
And this was in what, high school, grade school?
High school, yeah.
All right. In grade school, they called me Frog Legs.
Oh, that's a nice nickname. That doesn't hurt your self-esteem at all.
I mean, that was one of the nicer ones. Because when I ran, my legs would hit my butt. Like,
Oh, my God.
because I would run
Okay.
like a freak, I guess.
Well, now I'm on their side.
Maybe because you were so fast. I'm trying to find a nice.
Actually, I'm really not great at pickleball. I'm getting a little better. But I am faster than the other people, mostly because they're 10 to 20 years older than me.
That helps.
But they're better at, everything else. But I can still move. I'm agile.
Your hips still work.
My hips and
Your knees.
they don't lie. Oh no, my knees are.
Your knees do lie.
They do lie. They lied to me because they told me they needed surgery.
Yes.
And then the summer came, and then they didn't hurt at all during the summer. So I think it's just a weather thing, and I think as soon as it gets cold, my knees are going to start hurting again.
All right. Well, now you know.
That's so weird.
What other nicknames?
Oh, Danielson.
Okay.
Because, Karate
Yes,
Kid
Karate
had just
Kid.
come out.
Yes.
So Danielson.
Because your name's Danielle. I was like, did you wear a gi? I don't know.
No, I did. That was one of my weird things. I did wear my brother's clothes, but not his gi.
Okay.
I did wear my brother's hand-me-down jeans. And these socks we called Michael Jackson socks because those weren't his, but they were like sparkly silver. I don't know. I think that was... Yeah, but it's just like, that you're being called Daniel. Chris knows that I have a particular, like... It drives me insane when people call me Daniel instead of Danielle.
We just did this. We just got a little press, not bragging. But in the article, they spelled her name Daniel somehow, like
5 times.
5 times. We'd gone through the whole interview and everything was fine, and it was all looked good. And then they sent it back to us, and somehow they'd switched her name to Daniel all over the place. And I was like, "Hey, does this look good?" Because I didn't catch it, and she like screams back in all caps, "Daniel!" And I was like, "I'll get that fixed."
Oh my god! I was like, "Of course, I it's fine for Starbucks, but other than that."
It shouldn't be. Those coffees are expensive. They ought to get it right.
It's fine.
Oh, do you want to hear my nicknames?
Yes. I was going to ask. Okay.
Kimmels and Bits.
Oh.
After Kibbles and Bits, for people who don't know that commercial. And they sing the jingle behind me.
Oh.
I'm going to get me some Kibbles and Bits.
Oh, that's not good.
Crusty.
What?
Because my name was Chrissy. So it was fun to call me like Crispy or Crusty.
So these were mean-spirited nicknames.
I would say.
It wasn't just because...
Unlike Frog Legs.
Yeah, that's a compliment somehow.
I don't think Frog Legs was necessarily... Well, definitely Daniel's son wasn't an insult.
Okay.
A nice one's coming.
Okay.
This one is...
Hot slut?
Not yet. In 6th grade, my nickname was Shaka Khan. Because... I had long hair. I wanted a perm because they were big then.
Yeah.
My mom thought because my hair was long, I needed 2 perms.
Wait, what? 2 perms?
Like 2 boxes.
Oh,
so
you
she
did
doubled up, and I had a giant
fro.
Whoa. And so whenever I'd go to the teen center, somebody would put Shaka Khan on the jukebox as soon as I walked in.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Please tell me there are photographs of this hair.
I don't think so.
So she did an Ogilvy type home perm.
Home perms, yeah. I mean, we only did home perms.
Okay.
We knew how to do a perm.
I mean, to your mom's, in her defense, I did get a perm once or twice. And yeah, when you have long hair, it don't last long.
It don't take.
It's just kind of like sad curls.
This took like a house of fire.
She did them both at once.
Yeah. And maybe the rollers were a little too small. And I was like, I can never go to school again.
So when she took it out, did you immediately realize this is a nightmare?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't just the kids pointing it out. You knew this is...
It was way too much.
I feel for you, Chris.
Nice.
That is so... And how long did it last?
I don't remember. I think I've kind of blocked this period of my life out a bit.
Okay. Did you have anything besides wheels?
Well, Silent K was that was like my rap name.
Yeah,
there's
right.
a Silent K in my last name.
But you gave that to yourself, didn't you?
Kind of, yeah. Like a true nerd, you give yourself a nickname that no one else uses.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think, Shorty. I was very short, so my coach called me Shorty when I was in middle school.
Oh, your coach. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
My dad wanted to punch him in the face.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
When did you get your growth spurt?
Like 15 or 16, somewhere around there. Like right
you mean 16 or 17, right? Right, Matt? Right? No, I'm just joking. Oliver's fine. In fact, he's joined Youth and Government.
Ooh.
And there were a bunch of kids from his old school there. And I said, did anyone say anything about your height? And then I was like, that's ridiculous. Of course, kids don't know. And he goes, no, someone did. Someone was like, good. Oh, well, you got taller. So I was like, oh, okay. I have learned that I already knew this, but like we need to lay off of him because, okay, this is what happened. We were talking about, so Zoe and Oliver both had homecoming dances this weekend. Zoe, hers wasn't at a park, was it?
No, there's I guess a tradition where everybody goes to this one park to do photos before the homecoming. So it's like I I didn't get to experience this, but it was a soccer game, but apparently it's just a crazy scene where there's like hundreds of kids and parents just like packed into this little park, like taking photos and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I was asking Jimmy about her experience at the homecoming. And he said, well, I mean, Matt, was like, she's a teenager. I'm trying to respect her and like not ask every. And I was like, that's an interesting premise, and not grilling your kid about details. And Oliver was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry, are we too personal? He goes, well, you asked me who was drunk at the party. This was a different party. And we were like, oh, well, we just think because there's only 3. When you're a parent of a single kid, the relationship maybe is a little too familiar. And I was like, oh, I guess I just thought it was like Dad telling us about his show. Like, you're just telling us about your party. And I was like, totally, note taken. Totally get it. You're right. I was glad he said, I said, but you told us. And he goes, no, I didn't. And I said, yes, you absolutely did. And he was like, oh. So like, we're all a little too insular. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of grill my kids about stuff.
But they're 11.
I'll be like, who has crushes?
Yeah. Oh, that's
in the
cute.
class.
Yeah.
Who likes each other? I don't grill them about them as much.
Right.
Because I think they don't really want to tell me. Like, I don't even know if they have crushes, but they definitely haven't shared that with me.
Okay.
Well, a little, but
in the past they have.
But I'll say like, who got in trouble at school today? Because I know if I just say like, how was your day? They just shut down. They don't want to give me information. They don't want to talk about like their homework assignments.
Right.
But if I say like, who got in trouble? They'll like to talk about that, or I'll say like, who's the class clown? Who is getting in trouble all the time? Like, if I ask questions like that, they will give me the dirt.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's good. Because, my son is the same age as your kids, and he's never wants to tell me anything. But those are better questions. I should start asking those questions.
Make him a stoolie.
I ask the gossipy questions.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I'm like, who's the bad kid in your class? And like, who likes so-and-so? I get very like in the dirt with them.
And they love to
and then
blab about that.
And then they'll blab. And then it sometimes leads to other kind of things, like I'm like, have you heard why the principal quit again? Like, why can't you guys keep a principal in the school? So you guys heard about this probably. I heard about it on Kiss FM because that's the only station on my car now that I have tweens.
Yep.
Oh my God, does it still exist?
Yeah.
Is it still Rick Dees?
It's not Rick Dees anymore. It's JoJo and some other people. I don't know. I think it's, the guy in the morning.
I really don't.
Ryan Seacrest, I think you do know who Ryan Seacrest is.
Oh, I forgot. He's still
around.
On that.
Yeah. Every third song is Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, in case you're wondering what they play.
You're listening to Kiss FM.
Listening to Kiss FM, and they told a little anecdote about Will Ferrell doing a surprise DJ set at a USC fraternity where his son goes.
And his son in this fraternity?
They didn't specify.
Okay.
I'm like, either way, it seems bad. Like,
that is so inappropriate.
Your son, it doesn't seem, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like the son was like, hey, Dad, can you come and do a DJ
I can't imagine any scenario
at my fraternity where I go. Right?
That seems like that's a no-win situation for that kid. Why would his dad do that? There's got to be an...
Well, we know why that he's doing it.
Right.
Attention and praise and love. Because as performers, they can never get enough. They, meaning not us. We're not like that.
if only he had been cast as Jerry Buss in
I know.
in Winning Time, he would have gotten he would have exorcised all these demons.
Yeah, that would have been then enough.
Yeah, then he wouldn't have had to ruin his son's entire college career.
So I'm just imagining a scenario in which it's not his son's fraternity, but it's a different fraternity, which is hilarious.
That's even funnier.
How does this even happen?
Oh, because he asked his son if he could DJ for his fraternity, and the son, of course, was like, of course not, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
So then he went across the street to the other fraternity and was like, I'll show him.
I'm still cool.
Oh,
all these kids love me. Watch. You might not think I'm cool, look how cool I am.
But do 20-somethings even know who he is at this point?
I wonder.
I thought that too. It's like 15 years ago,
Yeah,
if
it
you're
would've
in
been
college
perfect.
and Will Ferrell shows up,
Yes.
it's like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Right.
Now it's kind of just like, oh.
Who's that guy?
I think I remember Elf when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
like like if Pete Davidson showed up, they'd
Right.
lose their minds,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Right.
I kind of felt like that, like going back to that Dane Cook thing where it's like, why do 17-year-old girls want to hang out with Dane Cook?
Yeah.
How do they know who he is? Like, again, it's like, yeah, is Will Ferrell a draw to 19 and 20, 21-year-old?
He may have overestimated
His cool factor.
I would love to get the inside scoop. I want to know every detail about this.
Well,
ridiculous story.
all the college students listening, let us know.
They may not like Will Ferrell anymore, but they love two middle-aged
us.
ladies.
Oh, God, they're just dying for our take on things.
Is he, it feels like he's on track to be the next Bill Murray in terms of bothering people.
Right. Making a
In the
career
world.
out of bothering
Just
people.
like, hey, I'm famous. Do you want me to crash your wedding?
Yes.
No, thanks.
No,
We're
thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, right. Like, what happens when you outlive your popularity with a segment, with young people? Like,
Right.
you think you're always going to be that person, but maybe you.
I think the thing is you have to calibrate. You have to stay with the demo that liked you when you and they were
right.
young.
You have to
Yes.
age together.
Because
Yes.
like the parents of those college kids at USC
Yes.
would have been so excited that Will Ferrell was
Right.
there.
Yes, go to Parents' Day
Yeah.
and DJ for the
right.
parents.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay. Are we ready to get into today's topic? Or did you have more to say? You look like you have more to say.
I can always talk, but you know what? Guess what?
What?
We have time in other segments of the show, and we have other shows.
Okay.
So
Don't forget what you were going to say.
Me?
Yeah.
I never forget anything.
Steel trap?
Steel trap up here. I don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And I am riveted.
Okay. Well, it's another one of my uppers. Okay. We're going to learn how to survive returning from war.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. First, we're going to...
Topical.
It is topical. Most of this is about, U.S. Veterans, and most of it's with more recent. I mean, not more recent, with like Iraq and Afghanistan. But I'm going to give you a little bit of facts, first of all. Okay, how many U.S. veterans are there? Any guesses?
Oh, man.
7?
I'm going to say more than 7.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1.2 million.
There are more than 18 million veterans.
Whoa.
Per the 2017 American Community Survey from the U.S. Census Bureau. About half of those veterans are enrolled in the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs Healthcare Program. Okay, what kind of problems do veterans face after they return? Some of the most significant are health-related. This I didn't really realize, a considerable number of veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan have suffered traumatic brain injuries, or TBIs, with about 1 in 5 experiencing a mild form of TBI commonly known as a concussion. Sorry, I haven't read in a few weeks. I guess I'm learning how. Other common problems include post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, problematic alcohol use, and thoughts of suicide. Many veterans suffer from more than one health condition. That would make sense. In addition, many women and men experience sexual trauma, including harassment and assaults, while in the military. They can have both mental and physical effects. Okay, so now we're going to kind of break it down a little bit more. The days and weeks after you return from overseas duty will be a transition. During this time, service members often describe a range of emotions, from excitement and relief to stress, tension, or concern. All of these emotions are a normal part of a healthy transition from a war zone back home. You may also feel distant, uninterested, or be overly critical and impatient with others. I mean, I don't have to fight a war to feel any of these things.
No.
If I just get back from like the gym, I don't want to deal with you guys and your bullshit.
Miss lunch.
Yeah. Oh my God. If I miss lunch,
Yeah.
I mean,
Forget it.
Never mind. At least these people have MREs.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah.
MR.
That's right. Meals ready to eat.
Meals ready to eat. Yeah, MREs. Oh, I got it right. Okay. And then question myself. That makes sense. Okay. These types of behaviors and feelings are normal combat stress reactions. We will discuss these normal reactions and how normal reactions can become problematic. You will learn about ways to cope with the return home, and if problems arise, ways to find assistance. Healthy adjustment in the days and weeks following homecoming includes taking time to be reacquainted with family and friends. I mean, imagine like you go and you have a 2-year-old and you come back and you have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Or, a 3.5-year-old.
They don't really know you anymore.
Not only do they not know you, but you don't know them either. Like, I just think that can't be overstated how fucking crazy that would be. Talk and listen to family and friends in order to reestablish trust, intimacy, and openness. This guide contains information. They're writing it like it's a guide, for the person. How you can better communicate with important people in your life. Okay, experiences in the war zone. During your deployment, you may have taken part in missions and operations that exposed you and your military unit or company to stressful or life-threatening experiences. You may have been shot at, seen the death or injury of a civilian in enemy combats, or even witnessed the death or injury of other American personnel or people you knew. You or members of your unit or company may have been injured as a result of bombings, blasts, weapons, or accidents. I think just being away would be stressful enough.
Well, it's also the indoctrination of the military experience that seems like a trauma in of itself. Like, it feels like, to me, even if you don't go into a war zone, which forget it, it's going to screw you up. The way that they sort of strip your identity and sort of turn you into a military being is its own sort of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, from some stuff I read, some people actually really like the discipline and rules.
Yeah.
And when you get home and that's not there, it can be really discombobulating.
Absolutely.
Like, wait, why?
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, you have to be somewhere every moment of the day, doing something every moment of the day. You feel useful.
I think a lot of people who go into the military are coming from, I don't want to generalize, but like dysfunction, chaos. It's their one shot to sort of make something of themselves, and it is a stable environment in that regard. And then they come home. So when you say like talk to your family, it's like maybe they're not actually the most stable force for you. So that can be hard too. That's not everyone, but
service members. Okay, so what is combat stress reaction? Service members respond to traumatic situations in different ways. Some report feeling upset or keyed up. You may continue to think about events that occurred in combat, sometimes even acting as if you were back in a combat situation. These combat stress reactions, also called acute stress reactions, can last for days or weeks and are a normal reaction to combat experiences. Most service members who experience combat stress reactions will recover. Others, however, continue to struggle with the memories of their combat experiences and their reactions to it. You may begin to have problems in your relationships with family or friends, or troubles at work or with finances. Your sleep may be very disrupted. If you continue to experience these reactions, and if it begins to cause you problems, you should seek help to learn how to cope. If you do not get treatment early, your condition may turn into a prolonged combat stress reaction, also known as PTSD. I mean, if I get into an argument with a friend, or not even an argument, just like a misunderstood text, I'm reeling for days. I can't imagine like coming back from combat and seeing things you've seen and not letting it take over your every moment of thought.
You know what? You might not be cut out for the military.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm not. But I'm really thinking, first of all, I don't make a very neat bed. I try, but I'm not great at it.
Can't do those military corners?
I can't bounce a quarter off a mattress. I can't wake up early.
What if I called you a maggot?
How about a maggot with frog legs?
Yeah, I would say it's not for you.
No.
At all.
Okay, what causes combat stress reactions, or PTSD? Mental health professionals do not know why some people have PTSD reactions to traumatic situations and other people don't. But we do know that it does not say anything about the strength or character of the person suffering. Again, there is no relationship between how strong a person is and these symptoms. Many people who are brave or strong end up with PTSD symptoms after experiencing trauma. Okay, so some of the things you might experience anger or aggressive behavior. Anger and irritability, symptoms of combat stress reactions, and PTSD are often related to loss of control or fear. If you're physically tense, you tend to be angry as well. I think we all have experienced being annoyed by something and taking it out on someone else because we don't know, we're just so stressed out.
Yeah.
A typical example is overreacting with anger to a slight provocation. Frustration over the inability to control PTS symptoms and thinking about things that happened at the time of trauma, including the unfairness of the situation, can also lead to anger. You may be especially overprotective of kids or have angry reactions to normal child behaviors. These reactions may actually be your own fears about possible dangers that children could be exposed to. Anger can lead to a slew of problems such as poor thinking and decision-making, ruined relationships, dismissal from jobs, legal and financial problems, incarceration, and health problems. You also might experience self-blame, guilt, and shame. Sometimes service members, in trying to make sense of their war experiences, take too much responsibility for bad things that happened. As you try to make meaning of what happened, what you did or did not do, or for surviving when others didn't, survivor's guilt, experiencing guilt and self-blame is common. Military personnel like you who have been faced with moral dilemmas or been through difficult combat situations may even feel as if you have committed a moral or religious transgression, even if you were following orders. Cognitive restructuring is a technique that can help you evaluate the accuracy of your thinking and may help with symptoms of guilt and self-blame. Effects on work functioning. Adjusting back to life at work after experiencing a trauma or being in a war zone can be very difficult experience. For example, going back to work is made harder by changes that have happened on the job during your deployment. Following the exhilaration of deployment, you may find you lack interest in your job. You might have had to quit your job before deployment. You might be returning to get your first civilian job and have difficulty finding a job or a career to get started in. Some of the symptoms of PTSD, such as feeling irritable or on edge, or having a hard time sleeping or relating to people, make going back to work seem very difficult or even an impossible undertaking.
Yeah, imagine like making burritos at Chipotle after you've been in Afghanistan. Like,
right.
I don't know, just like
thinking you're defending democracy.
People that you, I mean, I don't know. I think even if you're ordered to do it, it would be really hard to kill human beings.
I don't know.
Are you talking about the war or the feeding people Chipotle at this point?
Either way, there's a bomb scare.
I mean, it's debatable. But even if it's like, I think isn't a lot of killing people now kind of like pushing a button? Like, there's not a lot of combat, like with a gun in your hand at a person.
Wasn't there in Afghanistan and Iraq? I think there was.
I think it's both.
Ground combat.
I think there's both. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think, but I know a lot of they are doing a lot of drone stuff now. So it's
you're right,
but it's still
probably a different psychological thing.
It's still, even if it feels like a video game, you're still aware that you're doing that, and then to have to come back and be like, all right, somebody's gonna yell at me while I make this burrito that I put too much salsa on it.
Right.
Would probably feel, I don't know, futile or silly or just difficult to get through the day to day.
You know what it's exactly like?
Yes.
Like when I was in high school and I would have an acting job and I got to leave school and do a part on a TV show and then I had to go back to school.
Yes.
The next day.
You're like,
it's exactly like
it
that.
Is.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so boring in comparison to what I was just doing.
There's no closer analogy.
I think so. Okay. This may be made worse by your worries that an employer or future employer might not want to work with somebody who is dealing with symptoms of PTSD or other combat stress reactions. Okay, treatment for PTSD. The good news is that there are effective treatments for PTSD and the other problems mentioned above. Treatment for PTSD is really very practical and involves common sense steps. You have regular conversations with a trained counselor in order to think about your situation and how you want to change it. You learn about what PTSD is and how it's affecting you. You work with counselors and other veterans to get support while you make gradual changes that are important to you. Sometimes medications may also be beneficial. Many veterans receive treatment for PTSD in Veterans Affairs, PTSD treatment programs, and readjustment counseling service vet centers at readjustment counseling service vet centers. Others get help in general mental health clinics within the VA. In the usual type of outpatient treatment, you would come into a clinic for individual appointments and perhaps group sessions. For the most severe cases of PTSD, residential treatment where the veterans live in the treatment program for several weeks is often recommended. Okay, so this is basically just what you would go through once you're seeking help. Okay, you're being assessed. Mm-hmm. Treatment typically begins with a detailed assessment of problems you're facing, symptoms you have, and other difficulties in your life. Setting goals. You and your counselor decide what you want to accomplish to improve your life and what changes will help you achieve those things. Learning about PTSD. Learning coping skills or tools. There are a lot of skills that can help you in recovery, including skills for lowering physical tension, skills for communicating more effectively with family and friends, and skills for handling anger and conflict with others. Connecting with other veterans. From what I understand, this is very important. VA PTSD treatment often involves having more contact with other vets like yourself. As part of treatment, you talk with other service members and veterans, learn from their experiences, and give support to them. Participating in support groups. Veterans in PTSD treatment often meet regularly with other vets to discuss how they're doing, get feedback and support, develop friendships, and help each other. Looking at yourself. Treatment often involves learning to notice what you are thinking and feeling, how you act with other people, and what situations or thoughts trigger your distressing emotions. Okay, so where should you go for VA services? Once you have departed from the military, you are eligible to receive cost-free healthcare and readjustment services through the Department of Veterans Affairs for any condition related to your combat service for 2 years following active duty. After 2 years, services are still available for a copay based on income. If you serve in the National Guard or Reserves and were deployed to a war zone, you are eligible for the same benefits. It can be important to access these services early if you think you may have PTSD. You must enroll to be eligible for the services immediately. Okay, so this is just something I wanted to look up real quick because I was like, well, what about the work thing? Like, how do people get jobs? So I didn't do a deep dive, but I just wanted to say this thing I found. The Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act states that a person who left a civilian job to enter active duty in the armed forces is entitled to return to that job after discharge or release from active duty if they gave advance notice of military service to the employer, do not exceed 5 years cumulative absence from the civilian job, with some exceptions, submitted a timely application for reemployment, and did not receive a dishonorable or punitive discharge. So that's good. If you leave your job, you are guaranteed to get it back.
I wonder how many companies work hard to get around that rule because based on the amount of homeless vets, I mean, that might not be the company's fault because I do think while these services might be available, there are a lot of vets on street corners needing our donations. Like there are a lot of vets that are not either accessing these benefits or those benefits are not helping them. Like it is a real problem of homelessness among vets.
Yeah, I think they may not know about all the laws and everything that's guaranteed to them. And then I don't know if it's gotten better now, but I do remember several years ago reading, just about how screwed up the VA system was and how I think they've somewhat improved it, but just like, month-long waits. And obviously with PTSD, it's kind of a time-sensitive thing. You need to get to it.
And I know that there have been a lot of issues with vets fighting the VA, especially when it comes to traumatic brain issues of getting help. And I do think it's also like when you're the most vulnerable and you're ill and you have to advocate for yourself, it's kind of impossible. Like when you have to, especially it's like, well, you just have to fill out these forms and call this number.
Right.
And
I can't do that on my best day.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm the worst I've ever been, and now I have to be on the phone for 2 hours and fill out these forms.
Yeah.
And then I did fill out the forms, and then I never heard back, and then you're refilling out forms. Like, it's also a situation in which a lot of the times, yes, maybe the benefits are available, but it's a lot of red tape and kind of impossible for the person who doesn't have maybe an advocate for them.
Right.
So
exactly. Well, and speaking of that, I think it helps to be with other former vets.
Yes, that seems really important.
Right, which is what I learned on the Wounded Warrior website, which is where this story is coming from.
Oh, nice.
So Wounded Warrior is a program that helps veterans. It's like veterans helping other veterans. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the story of Taniki Richard. Taniki Richard enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps in 2001 and immediately loved it. Not only did she cherish the family-like relationships she created with her fellow Marines, she also enjoyed all her duty stations, even to some extent Iraq. See, this is what I was talking about. It's just a different mindset from you and I, but everything made sense in Iraq, said Taniki. You had a routine, you had your friends, and you knew what you had to do every day. Though she normally had a routine, things didn't always go according to plan. One night, while riding in a helicopter to deliver classified equipment to a base in central Iraq, her team came under fire. They completed the mission and everyone returned safely, but her life soon spiraled out of control. She stopped sleeping. On the rare occasions she was able to sleep, she was woken by terrifying nightmares. When her deployment ended, she returned to her base in Northern California and things got even worse. The stress of combat had brought out memories of an unreported military sexual assault Taniki had endured a few years earlier.
Jeez.
Despite being a suicide awareness facilitator and a sexual assault advocate on the base, Taniki began considering suicide herself. One day, Taniki purposely crashed her car into a pole outside the base gates.
No.
I didn't want to die, admits Taniki. I really wanted to live. That's why I was so sad. I wanted help, but no one seemed to want to help me. I made a decision after I crashed to get help. I think that's the first time I was ever a true leader. Despite getting some help to learn to live with post-traumatic stress, Taniki still felt alone and isolated until she attended a Wounded Warrior Project event that changed her life. When she arrived, a WWP staff member looked at her in a way that showed love and acceptance. I cried because I knew that love, says Taniki. You didn't have to say much, you just knew. You could express yourself and people just understood. An experience with a WWP mental health workshop called Project Odyssey cemented Taniki's recovery. When she explained to the group that she missed being a sergeant in the Marine Corps, others in the group shared similar feelings. No one judged me, said Taniki. They validated me. Their stories included similar instances of pain and anger, and it helped me realize I wasn't crazy. It was empowering, and it was a real turning point for me. Since that time, Taniki has been empowered to start her own business and lives a life full of love with her husband and 2 sons. Though she stays busy, she always finds time for her passion, inspiring people to live better lives. I want to make sure my fellow veterans have everything they need to play out the next part of their lives and not just live, but live well, says Taniki. If I can be part of an organization that helps people heal and find peace, then the end of my service is not the end. I'm just serving in a new way now. So I thought that was interesting that, I mean, I don't mean to do like a commercial for Wounded Warrior Project, but it does seem to be a very positive thing of just because how could anyone understand what it's like except other soldiers?
Absolutely.
You know, we'll be back right after this.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com, code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents the killer of productivity. It was an ordinary workday until...
Oh no, this meeting. It could have been an email.
Run. Canva had a creative solve.
Get email. I'll just put the info the team needs in a Canva doc, and I'll make it visual with images, charts, and graphics.
Bring productivity killers to justice with creativity. Love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive. Danielle.
Kristine.
How was your weekend?
Oh, how was my weekend? What? Okay, today's Tuesday. What did I do on the weekend? We went on a different school tour.
Okay.
And I was sick-ish on Saturday. Oh, we did pickleball on Sunday because I was feeling better. Mm-hmm. I think I'm getting a little better at pickleball.
Nice.
I'm still terrible, but a little less terrible.
I love it.
I don't think we did anything else really exciting. Did you do anything?
Do you want to know something exciting?
Oh, God. What happened? Did someone go to the ER?
No.
Okay.
My husband, it was our anniversary the week before.
Oh, okay. But you had COVID.
I had COVID. He took me to a fancy hotel.
What?
In Santa Monica.
Kristine!
And we spent the night at a hotel.
The two of you together, or he let you stay by yourself?
Oh, that would have been great too.
I was like,
I'll take that
Yeah.
anytime. Okay, 2 things you need to know. We have not been in a hotel alone for 8 years. Since our kids, we have twins, we're 2.
Okay.
So they're 11 now. So yeah, that's 9 years actually.
Yeah.
It's actually 18 because
they're twins.
Exactly. 18 years. 18 years since I've been alone in a hotel room with my husband. And it was a really nice room.
Oh.
There was a bathtub in the middle of the room.
What? Can I ask, was this Shutters?
It was.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Shutters. Not just stopping at Shutters to have breakfast. Like, that's the only thing I'd ever done before.
Right.
We stayed there.
Shutters is it's literally on the beach, right?
It's on the beach.
It's a really nice hotel.
I felt like I was rich. I was like, I'm rich.
How fun.
For 24 hours.
So did the dog and cat look after the kids, or?
They did. They did a good job.
Good.
Everybody shit in the litter box. No, we had friends stay over with our kids, and they went and had a good time themselves.
Oh, that's great. So you slept over Friday, or you slept over Saturday?
Saturday.
And then, so Sunday, did you have the breakfast, and did you
Yeah, we went on a bike ride.
What?
Down on the beach, and we we watched the sunset. We tried to ride the Ferris wheel at night, but we got there too late.
Wait, did you get there when the guy climbed the... Do you not know about this? Do you guys know about this? By the way, our guest, I'm just going to say now because we're so excited.
We're talking so long.
I'm going to say, okay, Nyima Funk is our guest. I will properly introduce her after this.
Yes, you can talk whenever you want, Nyima.
No, it's okay. I want to hear about the guy.
You didn't hear about
on the Ferris
the
wheel?
madman who scaled the... it just happened.
No, we might have...
At that Ferris wheel.
Oh my God.
Scaled it?
He scaled the Ferris wheel. He said he had a bomb. He didn't have a bomb, but he said he had a bomb. He scaled it and got to the top somehow, and I think there were people stuck on the Ferris wheel. They couldn't rotate the Ferris wheel.
Why wouldn't they just rotate it so he would fall off?
Well, I think they were trying to...
No, they should have let him.
I think it was, as they say, a mental health situation.
Ooh, we might have seen that guy.
You might have.
Sunday, we went to lunch at Cha Cha Chicken. Anyone like Cha Cha Chicken?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, you don't eat chicken?
No.
It's so good.
It is.
Please go to Cha Cha Chicken next time you're in Santa Monica. Everybody, it's the best. So we go into Cha Cha Chicken. As we're walking in, there's a unhoused person out front, and he's like, just yelling at us. And we were like, thank you. Went and sat down. And then he's still yelling at us while we're inside the restaurant. It's like outdoor seating. And we had seen a woman at her car saying, watch out for him to us. And, Santa Monica does have a large share of unhoused people. They have a very compassionate policy towards unhoused people, which is great. But it does.
They can scale any ride they want.
Because clearly what that guy said when you walked in was, I'm going to have a bomb.
Yes.
Clearly, right?
We just didn't catch
you
that.
You just didn't quite.
No.
You thought he said Cha Cha's Chicken is the bomb.
Exactly.
All right.
So we sit down, and then what we realize is he has a busted bottle in his hand, and he's waving it around. And then another couple comes up off their motorcycles, and he's waving it at them. And so we're all just sitting at the restaurant watching this guy, in terror. So the people at the restaurant had to call the authorities, and eventually he wandered off. I don't know. Hopefully the authorities caught up with him, but that was a little scary.
Jesus.
You're kind of protecting your neck. You're like, I can't really enjoy my Cha Cha Chicken. I'm a little worried about my jugular vein right now.
Now, is that on the pier? Cha Cha Chicken?
No, it's right off of, I think, when Pico Boulevard runs into whatever that
Main Street or whatever the
it's
street
right.
is.
It's right near the ocean.
Okay. Well, that's quite. I can't believe you didn't tell us. That's what you were going to tell us about, and I was like, I need to get into today's topic.
That's okay.
That's pretty great story. All right, I'm going to do a proper introduction.
Yes, please.
Sorry, that was Nyima again.
No, this is great. Okay, so the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive returning from war, and on this half of the show, we're going to talk about how to survive trying to make a return at a dispensary.
Yes.
With Nyima Funk.
Hello,
Now,
everyone.
You
Welcome,
may
Nyima.
have seen Nyima on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Little show. Hi.
Heard of it.
And she also does a live improv show called The Black Version at the Groundlings. Is that monthly? Is it
monthly?
Monthly.
Yes. But during Black History Month, they let us do it every night of the week, which that's fun.
So the audience gives you a movie, and you guys blackify it.
Yes, because we're all black in the cast, so it's okay for us to black it up. Right. The audience gives us the suggestion of an iconic film, and then we improvise the black version. So like we did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The title they gave us was Big Willy and the Kool-Aid Factory.
Wait, the audience gives
the audience. Yeah, the audience gives us everything. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we get everything from them. Oh my God. There's a band with us, so we improvise the theme song for the movie. All tons of music throughout it. But we have a director, Karen, and she knows every movie that there is, so she will go plot point by plot point. So we did like The Princess Bride. I think ours was called Oh She Fancy. And the audience did give us, because they give us great things, but Indigo Montoya was the Negro Montoya.
Because it's a color.
Because
right?
Wait.
Close. It's not an indigo, it's indigo. I realized I made that up. It doesn't make sense.
No, but it did that night. It makes sense.
I mean, my joke made no sense. And is Phil Lamar in this?
Phil Lamar is.
I love Phil Lamar.
He is awesome.
He is fantastic.
Super talented. Phil Lamar, Gary Anthony Williams.
Oh, wow.
Danielle Gaither, Cedric Yarborough.
Wow.
And Jordan Black, who is the creator of the black version.
Okay.
It's an amazing group.
The black version. And me.
Yes.
Did I
so
mention me?
Much fun.
It's great. It's
and Nyima and I know each other because we used to both work at, is that how we decided to say it? For
Playboy.
For Playboy.
Because, like, if you say you worked at Playboy, you could have been cleaning.
Right.
Yes.
But when you work for Playboy, you took your top off, which, Mom, I did not take my top.
We didn't do either of those things.
No, we didn't.
We, Nyima acted in some of the ridiculous things I wrote, which we've talked about before on the show. Absolutely preposterous.
Yes.
But there is a bathroom there, though, that has a shower in it to film sex scenes, I guess.
I don't know if they ever filmed me in there, but if that's what they sex scenes for show. Oh, okay, I get it. No,
is Playboy that provocative? I always think of them as pretty tame.
No, this was.
They had. Didn't they have some show, Playboy After Dark or something?
Yeah, so it's like After Dark, and it is a porn, but like set in Sweden.
And the show we watched.
The show that we were doing. So it's light porn, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, light porn. But I mean, even a photo shoot they could have done in the shower, I guess.
I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that there was a weird bathroom with.
It's no haunted mansion because it's all boobies and titties in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, we. It was fun working there.
It was really fun.
It was a blast. We would just come in and do bits and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good times.
Yes.
So Nyima, tell us about your story. I'm very curious.
Well, here we go. We're in Sherman Oaks right now, and I used to live here in Sherman Oaks. And let's see, I've lived in Los Angeles now for almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. When I speak to dispensaries, I'm speaking of herbal dispensaries.
Sure.
Okay, we're talking about medicinal and traditional marijuana.
Right.
Which is very accessible now, but has not always been.
Right.
I know that's hard to believe, but it was probably around 2012 when dispensaries were really sort of becoming more into being. You had to get your card from a doctor.
Oh, right. I remember this time.
And, you'd go to see a doctor. I remember I went to see a doctor, and he was like, so, what do you need it for? And I was like, well, I have asthma, and I can't sleep. And he's like, I'm a back doctor. I was like, my back hurts. He's like, there you go. There you go. Right?
I love you have asthma, and I need something to inhale.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to be honest
here.
Right, exactly. I have pleurisy. But
I have pleurisy.
Being old school, I was used to, I'm from Detroit, so it used to be that getting weed was quite clandestine.
It was illegal.
It was illegal. You would get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. You would meet your guy in an alley somewhere and they would give you a bag. They would not, there was no indica. There was no sativa. It was just that.
It was a dime bag or quarter?
It was a size. Yes,
Yeah.
it was just sizes.
It wasn't sponsored by a particular brand.
Ziploc.
Right.
Sponsored by Ziploc.
Right.
It would have mostly stems and seeds, and you could grind it up. And what I knew of edibles was like, if the weed's bad, you cook it, right? You cook it down in butter, make brown, like that kind of thing. But we put up with it, and you did not complain. Then we moved out here, and I remember it was like still buying it, but sort of on the new level. So now my drug dealer works at the Standard, so I got to go to the hotel to.
Okay.
I remember, and there was always the thing of like you'd have to go and maybe spend a little time, like with the dealer, like they might want to, like, here, smoke this thing that they're licking all over it, and like just interacting with them.
Wait, were you ever? Because I don't smoke pot. I tried. It doesn't work with me, with my system. I know it's that. But I'm
allergic to peanuts.
See, so same. Same. So were you ever scared, though, going as a woman to some strange dudes? Like,
yes, absolutely. Yeah. But from Detroit, it's all weird like that. So I was just aware.
Okay.
You're very aware.
All right.
So there was a strange dude when I lived in Los Feliz. His name was Johnny, and Johnny was a gangster, but had like a tiny little poodle thing. Like, hey man, I got this fifth of, whatever, something, and come here, cutie, come here. Very weird. One day I was going to go over there to visit Johnny, and my husband and I just so happened to be watching the news, because that was back before like Apple TV, so you just watched what was on.
Yeah.
And my husband goes, hey, isn't that Johnny's house? And there's live coverage of like a SWAT team there, at Johnny's apartment building. To which it was like, well, I guess I'll go later. Yeah. But you just sort of dealt with it. And then once it became legalized here, it was like a whole new world. And yes, you had you had to go get your card. I think my first card, I used my headshot because they let me pick any picture. So it was like, cheese. So you had your card, but the dispensaries themselves were not like like now it's like going to the Apple store, basically. Yes. It's beautiful. The place that this story actually is about is right on the corner of Moore Park and Woodman.
Oh, okay.
Across from the veterinarian clinic there. There's a split level, one of those places that I think on one side there's like one of those DMVs that you go to if you can't get a license, and, auto insurance, those kinds of places, a ballet studio maybe
like
in
a strip mall.
Yes, but less than a strip mall.
Okay.
What's less than a strip? Like nobody wants to strip.
No.
And it's not really a strip.
Like sadder than a strip mall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you call that?
A dispensary location.
Okay.
This was I'm going to say like 2014. So I'd been used to going there. You would go there, you show your license and something else to some guy sitting there behind a counter, and he buzzes out somebody, and you still go into a back room, and there's just all these jars, and it's still somebody like picking it up with their hand and weighing it on like a baby scale. Just, back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Not prepackaged. No such things as vapes. Maybe edibles, but it was like, grandma making them in the back.
Yes.
Like, hurry up, grandma. I don't know how to do this. I don't know if these are gummy worms or bears or whatever. But, and no, like maybe indica, maybe sativa, and maybe some names, but not really. So at this point in time, this is 2014, this is before Karen's, before all that.
Yes.
I have kids.
Such an innocent time.
It was very innocent. Oh. I was on the PTA.
Nice.
And was very scheduled and regulated. Yeah. And one day I went to that dispensary. Now, I remember it perfectly because I dropped my son off at preschool at noon and then went right to the dispensary. So it was probably 12:15, and I go in and show them my card and go into the back and have a nice conversation with the young man that was, serving me. His name's Johnny.
Another Johnny.
What was there?
Didn't you say the guy in the house was Johnny?
Yeah. Dang.
All your pot dealers are Johnny.
Or just the name you give them all.
Dang, what does that say about me, though?
Not a very good improviser.
Let's change it. Never, horrible improviser.
All the names are the same.
Or all pot dealers are named John.
Yeah.
Yep. C gives the Bible and the disciples a whole new meaning. Like John the Baptist.
Yeah, right. Pot dealer.
Anyway, I go in, get what I want, ordered a couple of different, things. And they used to put them in those, like, canisters that are basically, like, pill containers, those sort of things. Get it, take it home, and don't open it up until that evening.
Right.
When I go to partake time, open the bag, and the canisters, 3 big canisters, are all empty.
Oh.
Completely empty. And I'm like, oh. I honestly, I really wasn't fazed because I was like, oh, well, clearly Johnny forgot to put them in there.
Right.
No big deal. Yeah. I'll just go tomorrow.
But still a bummer when that's what you want to do and then it's empty.
Yes.
The evening and you're like...
Oh, no, I had more.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Oh, please. Oh.
You had reserves.
Yes, I had reserves. This is not the survival part.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not in survival mode yet. I had more. Or this would have been a different story. Then I burnt that bitch. No. So the next day, same routine, dropped daughter off at school. It's time for preschool. Drop my son off, go there. And I had written everything down because, write everything down and have a little book. And I have the containers, everything. Go back upstairs to the dispensary place, and I walk up to the desk, and I say to the guy who was sitting there, whose name I don't know, but it was probably John. I was like, oh, hi, I was here yesterday, and actually I was here at like probably around 12:15, right about this time, and John helped me. And funniest thing, when I got home, my containers were empty. And the guy that's checking me in goes, did you open them? And I'm like, what? He's like, did you check to see if they're empty? And I'm like, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Not thinking anything of it. He takes the bag because, it's still in the bag. And he opens them and he, opens each container and like smells them. And I'm like, oh, he's smelling them to see if maybe it was in there or something.
Right.
And he's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, it was Johnny that helped me. And so he pushes some little intercom thing and he's like, hey, Johnny, come out here. So here comes poor Johnny walking out from the kitchen, I guess, and he comes out and he looks at me and I was like, hey, Johnny. He's like, oh, hey. And I was like, you helped me yesterday. And he's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, see? And the guy says to Johnny, he's like, Johnny, did you not give her the weed? And Johnny's like, yeah, of course I did, man. Of course. And I'm like, it's okay. This happens, guys.
Right. Yeah.
It's all right. It's just a mistake. It happens. And then the guy sitting there at the desk is like, okay, hold on a second. And he picks up a phone and he says something like, come across the hall, which is what then happened, across the hall from where you could get your DMV.
Right.
Yes.
Another guy comes in who is clearly the owner.
Okay.
And he walks in, pissed off. Mind you, everybody in there is pissed off for some reason.
Already? Yeah, okay.
They should smoke weed.
I was going to say,
like, that seems like a job you could just enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, yes. But
it's like working in a chocolate
factory. I don't know
factory.
that I'm in trouble yet. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that in my mind.
That's
what I'm saying. This is pre-Karen, so it's not like I'm coming in like the customer. I'm a customer.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just coming in, and nothing has happened. Like, I know I'm not lying.
Yeah. Right.
So everything's cool.
Yeah.
But then this other guy comes in from like enters through the same door that I did. So I was like, oh, I didn't even know there was there's a place across the hall. Like, he does the insurance too. So he comes in clearly pissed and he's like, yeah, what? And I was like, oh, hi. Happy to tell my story.
Right.
Yes.
Nyima Funk. Hi. I was here yesterday, had a lovely conversation and blah, 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 told the whole story. They write down at this time they wrote down your name on like a login sheet. So I'm like, you could just check the sheet.
Right.
And I'm like, this is what happened. Johnny helped me. And he just forgot to put it in there. And the guy's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's not Johnny's fault, guy.
No.
And the guy's like, what the fuck? And Johnny's like, hey, I don't know anything. Like, and poor Johnny is about to
Is Johnny like a young guy?
Yeah,
Is he?
Johnny's a young stoner.
Okay,
who was probably hired to like be the joint boy, just like rolling the joints, and now has worked his way up to
Right, he's climbing that corporate ladder.
Yes, he's not quite a pharmacist.
Right.
But he's
apparently he can't even handle the one job he's been given.
That's why they let him work the noon shift, apparently.
Right.
So by this time, I'm a little bit like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. It's taking a long time, but also Johnny looks more upset than I do, and it's weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how's this going to be resolved? It can be resolved very easily. Like,
just give you your pot.
Just give me my stuff. So the guy who's the owner is like, hold on a second. I'll be right back. And the guy that's sitting there is like, you want to check the tapes, boss? You want to check the tapes, boss? Right? Like this. I'm like, okay, this little motherfucker's a shit starter.
Yeah, right.
Right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to check the tapes.
Oh, he's this hype man.
Yeah, right? First of all, he said tapes, okay? So you get what year we're talking about here, right? He wasn't like, you want to check the Ring app? No. Check the tapes. Okay, he couldn't do this on his phone. He had to leave.
Rewind.
And go across the hall to the DMV.
Physical tape involved.
Exactly. And as he's leaving, he's like, he turns to me, he goes, have a seat, I'll be right back.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, okay. Now, again, imagine that this is simply an office. Mm-hmm. It looks like an office. It's very dim. The curtains are closed. Still quite clandestine, I guess I'd say. So I sit down in a chair, and Johnny won't sit. He told Johnny to sit, but Johnny's like, no, I think I am sitting. No, you're not sitting. He's so upset. Poor Johnny. And I sit down, and I mean, I'm dressed, excuse me, I got a little PTA mom, got a little skirt on, heels, whoosh, over, like, not even realizing the situation I put myself in.
Oh.
Until I sit down and Johnny starts going, oh shit, oh my God, I fucked up. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Oh God, this is, and the second in command boss is like, man, you got to stop fucking up, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. Mistakes happen. It's okay.
Right.
And as soon as I said mistakes happen, I then hear a voice from behind me go, if that even is what happened. It's then I realized that what I thought was a love seat behind me is a security guard who's
Wait, what?
sitting there in the dark.
Were you sitting on his lap?
No, he's like, it's like I'm sitting here and he's like, it's dark behind you. So I didn't even
like
know.
Lurking in the back.
Oh my
yes,
God.
I'm telling you, I thought it was a love seat. Now I realize it's not. It's and I'm like, what? Oh my God, that
the human love seat is behind you.
Yes. If that even is what happened.
Oh, shit. Daunting.
And in that moment, then it becomes a situation because I go, holy fuck, Nyima, what did you just, where have you put yourself right now?
Yeah.
Like, the hairs on the back of my neck, the front of my, every place I hadn't shaved that day, those hairs stood up. Let me just say. And I'm immediately like, oh, shit. I haven't told my husband where I am. Oh. I've put myself in this situation, and all of a sudden I get like this situational awareness, like, in the Jason Bourne movies, like before he knows that he's a badass, but he's sort of like, I don't know why, but I can tell that it'll take me like 236 breaths to get down here. And, like I can speak German. All of a sudden, it's like I turned into like the Predator, and I start seeing in heat. Like there's a sniper over there. There's like all of these things start happening.
You like just turned on.
Yes, the Detroit came out in me. I'm like, oh honey, this is sweetie. What are you doing?
This is a drug deal gone bad.
Exactly. Right. Which I didn't realize. And this is something I got to stress to the youth of today. Just because weed is now a consumer legal thing does not mean the customer is always right. It means the customer may be right, but also may get shot. And if that happens... you can't. It's a drug deal.
You can't carry your way out of that.
You are still in the midst of a drug deal.
Yeah,
so,
there's still a lot of money involved.
Yes, and what I basically come in is basically saying, y'all stole $200 from me because it's about 3 big canisters. And I start going, oh my God, how many times does unhoused the Ferris wheel dude, come in here like, hey man, my joint was empty, Or, people I'm sure come returning it all the time, like my cheeseburger didn't have cheese on it, that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I just accused these people of, and what am I doing? So I go to try to pull out my phone. And this, I think it was probably a flip phone or something where texting was not simple at all.
Yes.
And try to text my husband. I'm like, what am I going to say?
I love you. Say goodbye to the kids.
Exactly.
I tried to get high today.
He wouldn't even realize it till after the funeral. He'd be like, oh shit, she sent me a text. I'm like, what am I going to say? Returning that herb, and it's not going. I'm at the. I put myself in a precarious situation. Nothing to really say. But now all of that, from the moment he says, if that even is what happened, till I realize what's going on, probably it felt like about 15 minutes, was probably 30 seconds or less for me to get a hot flash, breathe. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But, mistakes, I'm just going to sort of stop talking and just sort of see if there's anything I can protect myself with. I got my sunglasses on. I'm like, can I stab somebody with these? Yeah. They're my favorite sunglasses. I don't want to. So no.
Yeah.
After about 5 minutes and Johnny seriously having a breakdown.
Right.
The door bangs open. I mean, this man just, boom, storms in, points to me, and he goes, you, come here. And starts walking back into the kitchen where you get served. And I'm like, okay. And go back in there. He slams the door behind me.
Oh, no.
He goes, anything you want. Tell me, what do you want? That motherfucker. I'm going to kill him. And so now.
Oh, my God.
So clearly he's watched the tape.
Yes.
And now Johnny knows that because he didn't speak to Johnny. So Johnny, even the security guard's like, damn, Johnny. Knowing you, motherfucker.
He's trying to text his last word.
Exactly. So the range of emotions that I'm going through here, now I've gone from oh great, first of all I'm happy, really anything? Great. I only had 3 things, but this guy is so angry from what he must after watching those tapes, he's so mad that he's willing to just give me whatever I want, basically. Throws on stuff on the house, edibles and joints and abuela, make me a weed lasagna, you know what I mean? Throwing on stuff. And while I'm happy, I'm now listen, Johnny's a good kid. Mistakes happen. He's like, no, he's done this too many fucking times, and I'm sick of this bullshit. And I swear to God, he's not going to make it home tonight. And I'm like, no. But listen, and now I'm backtracking. Maybe I was wrong. And he was like, no, you weren't wrong. He didn't put him in there. I was like, okay, all right. I mean, now I'm saving Johnny's life.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
So it's
your mom, your PTA mom.
Now I'm
She's
PT,
back.
now, right? Because I know I'm gonna get my weed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gives me far more than
cleans himself out.
Yeah, basically. Because I guess he's probably like, how many times has Johnny saved us money by not,
Well. Okay, I'm not going to. Okay.
No.
Until the end of the story.
No, that's basically it. I'm still alive. He didn't kill me. I left. He gives me all the stuff. Opens the door for me. That was the other thing, too. Walks me out. Mean mugging Johnny the whole time.
Oh,
who
no.
Oh, my God.
He is a mess. He's crying.
Oh, Johnny.
The guys are out there consoling him. The big guy has now come out. And he's like a big IKEA love seat. Just like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Shit happens and you gonna die. Nobody's offering to save him. They're just clean out your locker.
Yeah.
Johnny, gives me a cheerful
oh, nice
last
knowing you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. But the guy that owns the place is now my best friend. And is like, whatever you want, whenever you want. You come back and I'll give you whatever you want as I'm leaving.
Yeah.
right before I get to the door, the security guard goes, "Hey, by the way, aren't you on Wild and Out?"
No. Yes.
Which, it turns out, security guards that work at dispensaries love to watch Wild and Out with Nick Cannon. And every dispensary my husband and I go to, they know us from that show.
Oh, were you both on it?
Yeah, we were both on there. He was the improv coach for all of the seasons, but he, whenever anybody wouldn't show up, he would step in and be their understudy.
Is that how you guys met?
No, we met years before at in college. We both did musical theater.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah.
Oh my God.
For some reason, those security guards love.
They love Wild Now.
They love.
It's their favorite.
It's very strange. Now, I survived it. I left. I was shaking. I was what the hell did I just do?
Right. That was an amazing story. That was really good.
And I got to tell you, to turn that corner just a few minutes ago and see
right
the store, I was like, oh my God, that's the place.
Do you think it's still there?
I don't think so. I'm sure it's been put out of business by all of the other
fancy,
the fancy places,
MedMen and all that stuff.
Where everything's like prepackaged and you like can't even get into it. And you know, vapes. Like I said, there were no vapes back then.
Yeah, it was just
no. It was like we've got some cooking oil and we can put weed in it and inhale it and see. No, none of that.
Oh my God, so good.
That's my story.
It's such a good story, Naima. Oh my God.
So fun. And I hope Johnny's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's okay too.
He's found
what if he like turned his life around and he went into the fancy pot dispensary and he's like a kingpin.
Yeah. I hope he used it, you know, I really like getting people high, but I forget
to give them weed.
I forget to give them weed, and if there was only a way that that somebody else could take care of that step. Johnny,
I'd like to feel like I can, after I smoke this, I'd like to feel that I can put things into a bottle.
Exactly. Maybe he was the one that was like, you know what doesn't work is when I don't give them the product.
Unbelievable. So great. Naima, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This was awesome.
So much.
Such a
You're
great
very,
story.
very welcome.
I hope the strike ends soon and we see you back on television.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're so funny and so great.
Thank
but in the
you.
meantime, if you live in Los Angeles, you can go to the Groundlings.
Yes, please.
Just go to their website. I'm sure they have the information about
all
the black version.
over. Yes, please do.
Yes. And we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Hey, Danielle.
Kristine.
Would you like to learn some things we've learned today?
Of course.
Frog legs. Danielson, Kibbles and Bits, Shaka Khan.
Oh my God, they're so good.
These are just some things we've been called in our life. Audience, tell us your nickname, and maybe we'll talk about it on the air.
Oh, that's good.
Will Ferrell can DJ your frat party.
Oh boy.
Here's a quote I took from the article. It was at Parents Weekend, and it was his son's fraternity, who's a sophomore. The 56-year-old can be seen in sunglasses, backwards hat, and headphones interacting with some students at the party. Guys, let's not be that. There are 18 million vets.
Yep.
Fact. Cha-Cha Chicken for amazing chicken and danger.
Ooh.
Old school dispensaries, formerly sponsored by Ziploc.
Yes, good one.
Abuela makes a mean weed lasagna. Dispensary security guards love Wild and Out.
Amazing.
It's been established.
Love it.
You know, I would like to take a moment to thank our new Patreons.
Yes, we have a bunch new
recently,
ones. Yeah.
And we will be reading your names soon, not on this episode.
Right.
Because, you know what? I don't have my laptop with me.
No, but that's okay because we'll do it next time.
Yeah, you're in our hearts.
Right.
We are thinking about you. We're thinking about all our listeners at all times. That's how much space we have in our brains.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. Mm-hmm. We love to hear from you, whether it's on Patreon or on our social media, in our email box.
All those various ways.
All the places.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. And until next time,
remain calm.